Mrs. Ryan pushing the button.
Okay.
It's the Thursday show. Yay! We don't mind the energy. We don't mind you guys. Yeah, I was going to say, there's no mandatory. Yeah, exactly. Like Mrs. Ryan said, do whatever you need to do. Oh, you can see Baby Yoda. That's it, right. We're going to figure all that out in a little bit. All right, that's it. We're on. We're back.
Great.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Ryan. Welcome back. Hello, everybody else. Welcome back. Tonight is Thursday, January 16th, 2020. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans. And this is the old late night playset. Welcome back to it. Let's see if I can't crop this in a little bit here and we'll not see Baby Yoda. Oh, maybe I can. There we go. There it goes. So we'll talk about the Baby Yoda in just a second here when our guest this afternoon we're very excited about. Mr. Toni Fishman, the CEO of Telefunken, the microphones that we use here, and a guest who is back for his second appearance this evening, Toni Roger Fishman from the Telefunken, both electroacoustic and Telefunken Motorsports, and he's always coming up with new ideas. So there's probably even other businesses we don't even know about we might get talking about today. So anyway, we're excited about it. It worked out really well. He's in town for NAMM, the NAMM show, talking about all this stuff, and we'll have conversations about all the things in a few minutes. I think we were talking about the Electro Porsche last time, so we're going to find out what's been going on with that, and then other new things too.
Tons is happening.
Tons is happening,
I'm told.
Yeah, the music stuff I'm excited about for them too, and that because that affects us as well here.
We talked about that just a tiny bit of like where we're going and where they're going, and there's lots of crossover.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and we've been promising some things for a long time that are going to help be facilitated through the Telefunken guys. So anyway, they're all here, and Scott's here too. Hi, Scott. Keeping everything on the road. Hellos, Mrs. Ryan. These are the hellos. How you doing? How you been?
Oh my gosh, I'm great.
I like your TLG sweatshirt.
Thanks.
Get your car some TLC. Come on home to TLG. TLG Auto. Come on home.
I do love that little jingle you made up.
Well, I didn't. Anybody old enough knows I didn't make it up. That used to be NBC's slogan back in the 70s. Remember that? Come on home to NBC.
Yes, but you changed the wording and made it relevant. That's what we do.
That's what we do. How are you feeling, though? Are you okay?
No.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the show, Toni. What's going on?
My body is ravaged and hurts like crazy, so I am trying to use my brain instead.
And meanwhile, everyone can probably see all week, you have been very here and present-wise, your brain-wise.
I really hope so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't look like you're broken, even though you're feeling it.
I hope so. I never know. I always feel the same. And you tell me, like, you're not here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, so I'm glad that it looks like I'm doing okay. All
right. Well, let's see. Somebody else here. I'm just going to shout out it's a birthday shout out. This is to my grandfather. That's Pop Pop.
Pop Pop.
Pop Pop in all his Purple Heart gear. He turned 96 years old the other day. And here he this photo was taken just a few minutes ago, and it was taken at the VA hospital in Philadelphia, and that's where Pop is now. He was at a VA hospital down in Florida. He's 96 years old, and that's what happens at this age. And he moved up to Philadelphia to be closer to Aunt Barb and all that. So that's what's going on. But happy birthday, Pop Pop.
Happy birthday, Pop
I have tried to call you every day for I don't know how long, but the phone rings and rings and rings. And now it sounds for the last couple of days he hasn't even been there. So that's probably the reasons. But gosh, we love you so much, and hope to see you in Philadelphia at some point soon. Love you. So that's it. Had to do that. Thanks for going with me. All right. I don't have too much today, just some East Coast feeds.
Okay.
And, of course, it's Thursday, so there's that. And there's Dave Watch if we want to do that. Let's check in with the East Coast feed. Danbury Chive, I believe we're Brooke and the Casman here. Let's see where we are. Roll it out.
She looks beautiful. East Coast feed coming to you live from the Richfield Player. You did good. That was good. I handed it to her. I sent her the note and she got it. We're here. You all right, kid? First day in heels. So we're all right. Not first day. Anyway, we're here at the Richfield Playhouse. We talked about it earlier today in the early East Coast feed, but Dad did a tribute. There's people coming. Who gives a shit? Anyway, Sandy Hook promise for the Sandy Hook shooting. Dad did a charity show tonight. It was fucking awesome. Love you guys. Want to send some love from Ridgefield.
No focus. No focus. The camera was in focus fine, but no focus.
Yeah, no. I feel so much better being myself around people you know. 'Cause
Really?
they're way less focused than I could ever hope to not be.
Well, we've talked about this before. I am more focused than most people, sometimes to a point where it's too much. You know what I mean? Like tunnel vision too much.
Yeah.
I have an ability to do that. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's good. Sometimes it's too much.
I used to too, and then I let everyone get in my head. Like, that doesn't need to happen, but they make me laugh.
No. Yeah, they do make me laugh too. That's a good point, though. You got to get everybody else out of your head. That doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're in charge of your future. Okay, we've got another one. Let's see where they are. I believe we're at Richfield BMW now checking in. Danbury Chive, roll it out.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan. East Coast Feed coming to you live from BMW in Richfield, Connecticut. And we're standing here right by this beautiful sign that says that we have body shop services. That's my van, the white, body shop services. And you can see, you can call for estimates from Michael Andrade. Thank you, Tom. And Michael Andrade, after only 2 months of working, quit. Because why not? So, Tom, what's our plan?
We're going to hire a new person. Anybody who's willing to come down, if you want to officially change your name to Michael Andrade, since we spent 10 grand on sign, you're hired.
There you go.
Since we spent 10 grand on the sign.
It's like Indeed.com. Go with that. Love you guys.
So, I mean, one, it's very funny, but I have so many like logistical issues with that. One, are we not advertising the guy who doesn't work there anymore, even right now, Michael Andrade?
Yeah.
Also, 10 grand for that sign is too much. Let's say that. And also, if we're designing that sign, the guy may always change. So just ask for body shop services or whatever. I feel like there's a lot of fails
I'm with you.
that made that joke.
There's a lot of question marks that let that happen. You're right. Something to think about, Kaz, man.
I love that his friend there, who we could barely hear, though, whoever the Tom, I think he said his name was, but he was like, because we spent 10 grand on the sign. It was just so fucking East Coast. Sorry, pardon my language. That was, too. Okay, I've got one more, all right? So maybe we'll skip one of the other things, but I've got one more. Let's just blow them all out since it's the weekend, all right?
Okay.
All right, one more. Checking in, Danbury Chive, no idea where he is. Roll it out.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, it's Steve Kaz. Don't mind Diana in the background. She's here hanging out at Orange Theory Fitness, where Brooke works. Say hi.
Oh.
Look, we got a new enthusiast who just subscribed to the Late Night
I just
Playset.
hit the subscribe button. I gotta hit the little bell, right?
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
You
Hit
want to
the bell,
make sure
everyone.
you know when the East Coast feed is coming
right.
from the Late Night
Probably say
Playset.
hi. Say hi to
All
LA.
right. That's California right there.
It's warm out there.
It's
You see,
right
it feels-
there.
It feels green.
It's a little warm. It's warm.
It's a little warm.
We're here. They're doing a whole event tonight. Orange Theory, as you can see behind me. Boom. Look at this. Fantastic. Brooke, do you want to get in? Nah, she doesn't ever want to get in. Look, she's running away. She's running away. There she is. She's in the back. Anyway, that was it. That's Liz. Say hi. There you go. See? We're here. This is Orange Theory night. Mina, come and say hi to Jay and Nicole.
Hey, Jay and Nicole, I'm Nina.
There you go. See? You've met everybody now. You know the whole crew. Our night is over here. We had a fun-filled transformation challenge at Orange Theory. And by the way, I'm a fat kid, apparently. I did the weight thing. What's it called? What's that thing called over there?
The body scanner.
Body scan. Like, I'm 22% of fat kid. That's the problem. So apparently I need to stop eating like a fat bastard. Anyway, yeah, well, alcohol,
Yeah.
snacks, pasta. You know, we love it. Anyway, love you guys. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, that was a lot.
Well, there's a lot to it. I thought that Orange Theory thing was like a one-off, and I thought they were crazy for using the singularless wireless
I know, you
logo
said
and the whole
that.
thing. But it seems like I think Orange Theory is actually a very large chain because I
Yeah.
think they're out here and stuff too. I didn't realize.
I did.
So that's what Singular Wireless is now. They got bought out by AT&T and now they make gyms.
Correct.
Okay,
It's a
same
workout
branding and everything.
center.
What's the deal with the lights in there? Why are the lights orange in the workout zones? Did you see that when you go into the gym? It's all the orange.
There is
light.
some pop psychology influence to that.
I'm assuming there is an orange theory to it, and that's what this is all named after and everything else. Like, oh, if you take in the orange filtered light, the rose colored.
Sure, you can sell anything. This is just another iteration of how to do that.
Thank you very much. I understand that. I'm curious what theirs is, what their little fulcrum is.
I have not studied it
Okay.
because it's all
Maybe Brooke will
gimmicky.
tell us at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Now that she's talking again. John Candy and Home Alone. 3-4 weeks started talking again. He came around. Okay. All right. Yabber. Let's do Dave Watch, Mrs. Ryan, since we have stuff to cover. Pushing the Dave button.
All right.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Here we are. This is Dave Watch. Anything new with Dave Watch, Mrs. Ryan? I should hang on. That wasn't fair. If you've been watching the show recently, you know we've been going after David Letterman as a guest on this program. If you haven't, or you're just tuning in, you're first, you're new, whatever, there are a lot of reasons for it. Obviously, we're sitting at Dave's old set. It'll be neat to have that conversation. But more importantly, there are some very personal, lifelong history stories, facets of this whole thing that need to happen. They need to take place. This conversation has to happen, and so we are doing everything we can in our power to make that happen. Mrs. Ryan, is there anything new with Dave Watch?
Nothing concrete that anyone can hang their hat on, and I know that's what everyone wants. And so part of my job...
Don't worry about what everyone else wants. We're doing what we're supposed to do.
Part of what I need to do is educate people about what PR is. I didn't know what it was when I started, and this side of it is so confusing, and it causes a lot of people, angel investors of ours, to really not understand why things take longer than it does sometimes.
Yeah.
And... it's going to happen, but we don't know when.
Right.
And so the next step is not about him, the guy per se. It's like, how do we make this set up properly for the next step for all of us? Because that's what everyone is focused on. It's not making this happen, because we've already gotten past that.
Exactly. Right. I like what you always say all the time. There's a bigger story here. It's a bigger picture. We have to keep doing this while all these other things are... It's funny because people are like, oh, is this all you do? And it's kind of like, well, yeah, but no, but yeah. It's a hard question to answer. It's almost like this is what we do in the meantime while we're actually doing this business development for the same thing, but down the road. It's convoluted. But it's actually so focused that it can't miss.
It's so focused. Becoming a public personality is not easy, and that's why a lot of people did it for years before they became famous, and we're just out all the time.
Yeah.
Just this is who we are. And that's what I used to do. So I'm owning that.
Crazy days. Crazy days.
It's
I love
amazing.
what you posted today, your picture of, was it your old office with all the Polaroids? Your
It's
TBTs?
some I took from my old office, but I used to have them up everywhere.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. The amount of, anybody who's famous today, at some point you worked with them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and that's been Dave Watch. Do it over and over and over. Okay, and then we mentioned the other day on the show about the website and merch store and stuff like that. The website is live. I said maybe next week. You said this week for sure. The website is live. Merch store still being worked on. I'm still going to say next week, but if that's this week, that'll be incredible. But it's live. People can go to it. I think it's basically a hub, right? That's
It's a
more
hub.
of what we're
It
doing.
directs everyone to where they need to go, but it's pretty awesome.
LateNightPlayset.com, LateNightPlayset.com, LateNightPlayset.com. Crazy Eddie. The Connecticut influence coming in here with our guest today. I'm excited. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. We've yabbered. I think it's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind. Mrs. Ryan. What's going on, Mrs. Ryan?
NBC Comcast has a new streaming network coming out this year, and they announced the name today.
Oh, I thought we had one. What is it?
Peacock.
Oh, we've had that for a long time. I feel like you did this story already.
Maybe I did, but this is the next
But
level.
is it launched today? Is that what's going on?
Yes, at the TCAs, they're doing a several hour-long presentation and announcing their development slate, which includes MacGruber.
Oh, no way. A TV show of MacGruber. Now, MacGruber, of course, was a Saturday Night Live sketch that turned into a Saturday Night Live-based sketch movie, but it's originally based on the ABC drama with MacGyver, yeah. Richard Dean Anderson.
Yeah, but Will Forte, who I used to be friends with a long time ago, made an SNL sketch. He wrote that sketch and then created the TV show. And so he's bringing it to the streamer.
So cool.
I can't wait.
I'm excited because it was a TV show, so this will be 1-to-1 now. It'll finally be apples to apples. Let's have a comedy MacGyver TV show.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
We'll see. Since the 19th century, when we came up with all the knowledge we thought was static and forever, it's not. But body temperature that we thought we knew was normal and standard 98.6 is no longer. It's decreased since the 19th century by like a degree or half a degree, depending on gender.
I was always, whatever it's supposed to be, 98.6. I was always the opposite, 96.8. Was like and my dad was the same way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was low too, and no one looked into it. But like, I didn't match what the number was. But it's
never meant
lower.
anything to me as a kid because we had so much energy. You could always just create the warmth and everything else. As an adult, now that we're a little bit older and the blood's thinned and the whole bit, I get cold at about 60 degrees. I mean, truly, about 50 degrees outside. I'm like chilly.
Temperature is a big deal.
That used to be t-shirt weather, because like the snow was melting.
Have you ever skied in shorts?
Never shorts. T-shirt and jeans, I think, for sure. Gloves, stuff like that. Maybe a long sleeve T-shirt. Definitely jeans, like definitely without the windbreaker and stuff like that, though, because it was so nice and warm.
My brother skied, and I never did because I didn't ski that.
Shorts
long.
that's a commitment. That's a ballsy move.
It is, but it's just temperature's different for everyone, and now it's apparently different than what we think it is. Have a gander. Okay. The guy, I wrote it down because I always say it wrong. Yusaku Maezawa, the guy that is going around in the moon at SpaceX and whatever.
Guy looking for a girlfriend for the moon.
That's become a reality show in Japan, and they got 20,000 applications.
Of course it has. It's genius.
It's genius, and I'm fascinated. I think this is hilarious. So it's crazy.
Bachelor goes to the moon, right? Bachelorette goes to the moon.
Yeah, it's bananas, and it is absurd, but I'm interested. I'm more interested because they're going to the moon, but whatever. And then lastly, Modern Family is coming to an end finally after 10 seasons.
I just saw that the other day. We have a few friends, but I saw a friend who worked on that show just posted the final. They're done. I think they're done, right? They've actually shot it, or at least they're shooting.
I think they're done, but the news out today is there was another death on the show of an older cast, not in real life.
Right, a character
death. Which I don't want to spoiler alert, but it hit me, and it's the second one that I read about. The first one.
There are two people I can think of it maybe being, and I don't want to say their names, but one is from Cheers. Is it?
That already happened.
Oh, it did. Okay, well then would it be the guy we met in San Francisco from Silver Streak and everything else? Wasn't there her husband? Should I just say his name? I don't want to ruin it. I'm asking you if I should or not.
I don't know who you mean. Yes. Yes. Okay. It's that one. So it just brought back a lot of memories. So everyone, I feel like I'm not the only Modern Family fan ever.
You feel like you're not the only Modern Family fan ever? I think you might be right about that.
Use the right words.
I think I might support that decision.
Of people that watch the show.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while, but that was news today, and it hit me pretty hard.
I love that show, too. And that's been... What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Baby Yoda's head. We're going to find out about that in a few minutes. It just looks like an alien to me.
Yeah.
But because I haven't seen the movie, the new Star Wars.
I was told it was Yoda, I saw it, but I didn't.
Well, same here, yeah. Same
before.
here. But I still see a gremlin and an alien and a few other things.
Totally.
Yeah. Like Independence Day alien.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
You guys are all going to know what we talk about, what we're talking about in a few minutes. Okay. I'm going to get the marbles out of my mouth. We're going to take a little bit of a break, Mrs. Ryan. And we're going to be back in here with Toni Roger Fishman from Telefunken.
Yep,
That's going to be exciting. More to come right after this. Toni Fishman in that chair. Late Night Playset and the Ryans will be back right after this. You got to have fun.
Oh, so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. Garlic and serrano mixed with love and care. You can put it on your eggs, pour it on your rice. It's great on a leg, it's better on a slice. It's oh so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. OSO Delicious Hot Sauce. Great on everything except oatmeal.
Get your bottle today at osodelicious.org. $1 from every bottle sold goes to the National Military Family Association.
All right. Well, with that, let's just bring it on back here. All right, and we are back sitting here with Toni Roger Fishman of the Telefunken Electroacoustic and the whole Telefunken conglomerate over there. That's you.
Yeah, that is.
What's going on, brother? Welcome back.
Thank you.
So
Thank
good
you for
to
having
see
me.
you. And your friend here. I got the wide shot so that we can make sure to get your friend in there.
Yeah.
This is Baby Yoda, but there's a story behind this Baby Yoda. It's not that you just came with balloon
Yeah, it's kind of like
reason.
a NAMM tradition. We usually on was it Catella there? We walk each morning and get breakfast on our way in, and there's a balloon sculptor at the Denny's there where we usually grab a quick bite. And each year he does a balloon sculpture for me.
Does he work at the Denny's? Like, is he paid
he's
to
like a
caricatures by
clown in front of the Denny's, which is
in front of the Denny's? Now the truth comes out.
Yeah. Well, no, he's
behind the Denny's.
in the lobby of the Denny's. But he's got his foot in the door. But
Not for nothing, but most Denny's I know don't have a lobby. They might have barely a vestibule. Is he hanging out in the vestibule?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
So we've been having the balloon things done. Couple 5, 6, 7 years now. I mean, I've been going.
So this is a tradition.
Been going to NAMM. The company's been going to NAMM 19th year.
Wow. Under you.
Yeah,
That's very, very
really
impressive.
blessed to be nominated for a Tech Award this year for our Alchemy Microphone series.
Now, I don't have a visual for that, but these are the more
Studio-oriented microphones, usually vacuum tube microphones, and
they're also
kind of-
notably good looking, right? They have the ones, some have a copper or some have a different.
The Alchemy series, we kind of went through. We used to have something called RFT, and it was heavy and expensive to ship, and we found a way to kind of put it in a better, sexier package. So
Okay.
a little lighter weight. The case now is something that's reusable. Microphones used to come in cardboard. We want to, be green and have reusable, and everyone
that.
likes keeping their microphones in good shape forever. So
Yeah, absolutely.
the case is a big deal. The mic box is supposed to be a work of art.
You're talking to I'm with you. I totally agree. So are these the wooden? There's not the wooden box ones. That's the more expensive stuff,
Yeah,
isn't it?
the Diamond series. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but
they
you got
all-
an award for this.
Yeah, we have
Alchemy
the
series.
Alchemy series is sort of our studio projects level microphones, and they're really great bang for the buck, and they are voiced similar to the Diamond series microphones. So
So that's why they bang for the buck.
The darker German sound is the U47, and the brighter, more airy top is the C12 or 251, which is the Austrian sound. And
Are
then,
these more what people would think of with the vintage style?
Yeah.
The bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the famous microphones that, if you go back, you see pictures of artists like Nat King Cole at Capitol, and
giant microphones.
Yeah, I mean the recordings are just over and over and over again. The Austrian and German microphones are used, and of course, how we connected with the
You and I.
seeing the picture of the Letterman mic. You know?
I'll zoom out there since it's right here.
So
Can't really help much about that.
it's just amazing all the connections.
That you and I share.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the first time we talked on the phone that one night when it was just kind of like, hey, you're a nerd, hey, I'm a nerd, hey, we should probably nerd out together. And we got on the phone real quick and just kind of not believing how the similarities and the parallels kept unfolding and uncovering themselves to the point where I felt like we're like related or something. And then you got here on the show, and then you brought microphones, and you sponsor the show and everything else, and that's where we are. You're in town though for the NAMM show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Which it started like while you're sitting here
this morning. Yeah. I'm gonna be fashionably late. That's the thing to do in the music business is to not be the first one to walk in the door. So
Can't be the guy at first.
I got to show up when the cool people show up. So but blessed to be here with you. I mean, I can't get cooler than
I had an interview
this.
this morning. Is all you need to say.
That's right. I was on television this morning.
Yeah.
Had to do that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So it's been about a year since I saw you last.
I think it's been almost exactly a year because the day that we put this together, Scott, I got a message that we had a 1 year, whatever, our friend's anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
Friend anniversary. I can't believe it's been a year. I mean, we were sitting in this exact same room, but it didn't feel like this at that point.
Well, when you're passionate, you're focused, and you're working hard, time just kind of ticks away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really hard to find the time. I'm so blessed that you guys had me back on the show. It was a surprise to just have that serendipity that, we're here again, same time of year, and wow, let's make this happen.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Of course we would.
Huh?
All right. Well, let's finish up with this Yoda guy over here because I want to tie it into something else, of course, with the NAMM show. The reason Yoda's here today, I mean, I understand why he was made over at the Denny's vestibule, but why is he here today?
Well, he's here today because we're going to give away a microphone.
A yellow microphone.
In tribute to Yellow Car.
A yellow microphone.
Right. A yellow microphone happens to be today. And the reason why it's a yellow microphone, obviously, it works, right?
Absolutely. Porsche Life 111
Yeah.
all the way.
So,
what's your name, miss? Where are you from?
Hello, I'm Nicole.
Larry Bud Melman and the whole bit. I love that we got this. This, of course, was in the Yoda's hand when the guy did it, but once we got here, and this is an annoying anyway, right?
Yeah.
No problem at all?
Handling
Nope,
noise
it's
on that
great.
one's not so good.
No problem at all. The handling. And for a wireless, it's really...
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's very exciting. But please stop by the telephone booth if you have telephone booth. Let me do all this again. If you happen to be at the NAMM show this weekend, please stop by the Telefunken booth, which is booth number
15121.
15121. That's not your password, is it? No. And enter or just show up. How does it work? They enter for a chance to win.
I believe there's an entry on the Telefunken website.
Oh, great! So you don't even need to be
I
at
think
NAMM.
I
Maybe you do.
don't have all the particulars. I know if you come by the booth and you scan, there's a QR code at the booth.
Right.
And if you scan at the booth, you're entered.
Perfect.
So.
All right. So there you go. Bring your phone over to the Telefunken booth.
And each
scan
day
that thing.
we're giving away a different color.
Today's is yellow because of us, but
Yeah.
what are they throughout the rest of the
I think the next one is blue. I think it's two different shades of blue, like a Mexico blue, and then a darker blue, and
That's what I saw. There was like a teal. There were a few different.
Yeah, there's
interesting...
four days of NAMM, so 4 different colors, and I actually picked the colors. My graphics guy back at the office, Nick, did a great job. I shared a post with you on Facebook. It actually comes from an old Porsche poster, like the layer of the colors. And
Mrs. Ryan has a Hunziker design shirt with the same thing with the speed gelb and all the different German names of the colors and everything. You did something very similar. I was going to say that your microphones are, while by no means a copy of those colors, but there are definitely nods and inspirations. You can see a lot of old vintage Porsche colors, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be a Porsche fan and need a microphone, this is the only one you can buy.
Yeah. It all folds together for me. I love the fit and the finish. I like being able to offer something. The custom shop at Telefunken is there's a custom shop configurator on the website where
This
you
would
can
be the equivalent to your paint to sample, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can go there and you can pick whatever color head grill, whatever color mic body, and it can be personalized further. So it's.
I just saw the other day. You guys have wood bodies now too. Are they actual laminate or?
I wanted to do actual wood bodies, and unfortunately,
I should start
there's
with saying they're beautiful.
Some shielding issues, and they're delicate. So a few samples were originally made in wood, but these is a simulated wood finish on the metal handle for shielding and durability. But there are certain artists that like the idea of having not a big metal-looking microphone in front of their wooden instrument. So
Absolutely.
there's an oak, I think, and a cherry finish, and they look kind of cool in the studio. And
They look really
You
neat,
know.
and even if they're not real wood, they definitely look like wood. So there's a warmer feeling that, even though that probably doesn't affect the sound in any way, I can't imagine it would.
yeah, it's like a simulated grain finish in the handle.
Authentic. What when we were kids, it was genuine, authentic, or genuine imitation wood grain.
Yeah, yeah. It's like what leather or the leatherette or the
Yeah, pleather or whatever.
different seats and seating. But whether it's the fit and finish, a lot of what I see and try to inspire within the microphones is that same kind of quality, and fit and function, and the colors just are really meaningful to me. I want to eventually figure out how each color can represent, a philanthropic cause.
Oh, I love that.
So
love that.
I have to do a little more homework on that one and figure out how to do it the right way.
I like where your brain goes, Tony.
I want to do good things with the microphones. The power of broadcast is so magic,
Oh,
and
sorry.
connects us all. It's just awesome to be able to make tools that collect good vibrations and make people happy.
When you were here last, that was sort of the agenda, which was why Telefunken, what's different, we really needed to unpack it last time. And since we did, I can't tell you how many times I've told the story, because the story is so good. Having nothing to do with anyone who's interested in Telefunken microphones or microphones in general, we had a guy in here recently who just had a really neat, inspiring story about his father who had passed away, and there was blah, 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 some story. But he wanted to take this not so positive story and, change the conversation and do good things with it. And I said, you have to hear this story about a friend of ours who actually is our sponsor. And we told the story all over on the show again, unpacked the whole thing. And the guy was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, that's absolutely incredible. So, the story is wicked important. We don't need to tell it over if you don't want to.
Yeah, no.
But the fact that you essentially started this company to take something that was known, it was incredibly good quality and all the things, but there was some negative mojo attached to it for obvious reasons. And you said, I'm going to do this so that I can overcome that negative mojo and just flood the place with positivity.
Let's cancel out those bad vibrations with good ones. Noise canceling and phase, and the way things sound and vibrate. That's why the colors look a certain way, and that's why the car makes you feel a certain way with whatever exhaust you choose, however you choose to tune it.
Well, this is what I like about your custom shop. You're in a field where you're dealing with artists.
Yeah.
Creative people who want not the same.
On the way up here in the drive, we stopped for coffee just before coming over, and I in the car, and I yelled to Sky. I said, "You got to stop the car right now," because we were driving by George Barris's place,
Right around the corner.
and I had no idea it was so close. And King of Customs, what can I say?
Yeah.
Pinch me. There's another connection, right?
No matter what you say of the guy in his later life or the other, there's a lot of controversy there. Back in the day, he was the guy.
Yeah.
The Munsters coach, and that's what I go
Oh
to
yeah,
all the
I mean,
time.
I can
The
still
Monkey
remember
Mobile.
the day sitting watching black and white TV in my parents' floor in Connecticut, in the fancy living room, and watching that Munsters thing come on, and seeing that car, and like looking at those intakes and being like, just how is it possible?
It's half dragster, half
so-
coffin.
So cool, right? I mean, there's one other car like that. There's one other movie. I think I talked about it last time. I don't know if I'm repeating the same ground, but the Harold and Maude.
Oh, I loved it.
The hearse Jag.
Yeah, it was the E-type. With the,
and watch it
Cadillac.
sail over the mountain at the end, and
Did we talk about? There's somebody who recreated it, or they built one that's
I
pretty
think there's a
authentic.
pretty good clone of it out there, because I guess the original car was flung off the
That's
cliff
what
at
they
the end
said.
of the movie.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Really?
Yeah, the original car was destroyed
Yeah.
by the motion picture company that.
Wow.
I adore that movie. Do you like that movie?
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I liked it. Even though I didn't understand why I liked it, I just knew that there was something very real and authentic about the honesty in which the storytelling unfolded.
Yeah. It's,
Harold and Maude. Highly recommend Harold and Maude to anyone.
oh yeah.
You didn't used to like that movie, but don't you like it now as an adult? or no?
I don't know. I need to watch it again. I think I saw it in a sociology class, so like it was automatically schoolwork.
That's what I did too. I saw it in exactly the same thing. Search for Self. That's funny.
I was not as open-minded.
The soundtrack for Heroin Mob, the fact that it was the Cat Stevens.
It's all Cat Stevens, yeah.
And it was at a time where that, I don't know, just really connected with me. That's sort of one of the soundtracks of my life. Not to bring up another band, but like, I got to ask you. I know you're into the Grateful Dead.
Loosely. Not as much as you.
This recently, you must be a Rush fan, huh?
Well, it's interesting. I'm a drummer, and while I respect and appreciate Neil Peart, he's never been my favorite, and I'm very sorry that he's gone because I know what a god he was to so many people.
Yeah.
But it missed me. I always liked the music, but it never was like the holy music that it is to Rush fans.
So can I tell you my little connection to Rush?
Let's hear it.
So, I went away to boarding school at a very young age in Putney, Vermont. I went to the Greenwood School, and 40 boys dormitory, had a roommate. We both had boom boxes, competing boom boxes, and he was the biggest Rush fan in the world. And I woke up and went to bed with and heard every single day, Rush. And so for me, I was just numb to it actually growing up. For a while, I didn't want to listen to Rush because I had a bad experience with this roommate.
Had you liked it ever?
Up until Moving Pictures happened, I wasn't really so connected with it. Because of this situation, but like 81 or something, when Moving Picture happened, it was like in my headphones. I think I didn't take that, away from, my daily listening routine for but a second,
Yeah.
So it really connected with me, and just.
Was that because of where you were at that point in your life, though?
Well,
I mean, was the album that good? Because obviously people say it is.
I really think it opened the doors for them, and later in life, so I think it was around 2015, R40 tour, their retiring reunion tour, right? We have this connection because all of a sudden they're using Telefunken microphones on stage. So to go through this journey with them where at a young age, for a while I didn't like them, then I couldn't not like them, and then to have them use the gear, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I got to have that connection with them. They recorded with our microphones. Mission complete.
Yeah.
So.
But how many? I mean, that's one band that's big right now because, their drummer passed away last week. But so many bands you have that same relationship with.
Yeah, it goes.
So many artists.
Goes on and on. So you have to keep positive and looking forward and finding new music and new artists and the changing of the guard. It's difficult. I've always had trouble never wanted to let go of the music when bands. It's a miracle that they come together. That these guys can get along for so long and play for so long, and then something happens, and then it's over, and it's like you either live in that moment and can get out and see live music and enjoy it, or you just have to appreciate it. It's a great way to connect, and the microphones do that for us, and it's just unbelievable to experience something like that, to see something like that from the helm of our Telefunken spaceship.
Well, you're Mr. Segway today because I can't think of another way to bring the conversation around to the Telefunken studios and your soundstage and everything that's new with it, because we were making some plans to do some stuff together even in its old form, and with what you've got going on now, I can only imagine that that's going to be really good this year when we do it.
Yeah, we're waiting for spring to happen.
What's going on with your space?
Well, we're perfecting a soundstage, working on lighting, and we just got through all the zoning and everything we needed to have a unique boutique concert in a studio environment.
Yep.
So much like we are in your studio here.
I say it's exactly the
We're
same.
going to have a soundstage with like that kind of old school studio vibe, and do shows from there.
It's going to be incredible.
And again, not quantity but quality. We want to have people come in there and have very unique experiences and very small shows. I think our occupancy will be under 200, or just around 200.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. And this is going to be special events. This will be obviously maybe record launches, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to figure out.
It'll be a soft launch. We'll start with some local bands we've been working with for a long time.
Sure.
But all the music production is kind of begat this. It's this space that is turned into a magic space where we can apply everything we've learned about music production and making microphones and recording technology. The last year, we've been working on something called Telefunken Electro Records.
Oh.
And this is birthed out of the studio and the soundstage, in that we're just working on a record for a Connecticut band, Max Creek.
Love that,
I've been
yeah.
seeing since I was like 15 years old. They're kind of like my favorite local.
Yeah.
And
whenever you do something with them, you post it.
Yeah. So we've been working on recording vinyl for them.
Wow.
And so we've had to really learn something old again. It's much like making the microphones like they did back in the day. Well, we're going to
You
make
dove
vinyl.
in though. You know the intricacies of every
Sure,
groove, and it's so neat.
In the last year, we probably the most meaningful thing I've learned in the past year is that record with a groove on each side. It's not linear like a CD, in that as the needle moves across the record and gets closer to the center, the space in the groove loses dynamic range. So as you get closer to
because of the drag, because the radius is different.
As the groove gets smaller, the dynamic range is diminished slightly. So, in modern CD making, where they put the song on the CD is you usually have like they're more popular songs at the beginning, and then there are a couple throwaway songs, and you know how it is. There are like 4 songs on every CD that you like, and there's a handful that
They put it on there too.
Right. So, CD making was different. When you make a vinyl record, there are areas on the actual space on the record, whether it's the first, second, third, fourth track, as it gets closer to the center, you're losing dynamic range. So with a band like Max Creek that's live music, and they're playing longer songs, it gets really harder to do that. So we had a lot to learn.
What's the answer? Bigger records? Like what? How do you? Or is it? Do you have to combat it with technology?
I suppose if you had a bigger,
you know what I mean? Like
that's a trip to think about. But learning about literally like what's in the groove is really where it's at, and it's just so remarkable that there's this renaissance of vinyl, in that when you walk into the bookstore, you can't buy CDs anymore. There are records there, or it's a download.
Yeah.
And the fact that the records are coming back is just.
Don't you feel it's how it should be, though? Because then we'll actually have the dichotomy. We'll have the most electronic, modern thing, and then we've got the analog, physical thing in its truest form, that melty material that can just end in a day if you leave it in the car,
Really, really special, you know?
It's fragile. That's part of that's what I'm saying. It's fragile.
We grew up and we kind of like got the tail end of vinyl, and I to be able to experience that again and make a record, wow. I know there's a bunch of lectures on mastering at NAMM, and it's really hard to be there and stay at the booth the whole time because
everyone wants to tell you about it.
I can't tell you. If you've never been to a NAMM and you're into music and you're a musician, you have to get there, because you can't get more than kid in a candy store. It is the place where you can meet and network, and whether it be about the gear or about the production or about the artist. It's just like it's where the tribe gets together.
Yeah. It's for us Comic-Con for gear and tech stuff for sure.
Yeah.
And then at night, my God, the parties at night.
Yeah, we've held a few where.
Unlike Comic-Con, you don't have to go to the parties. The parties are everywhere. The parties are in the lobbies of everywhere. Like, you can't even go across the street without leaving one party and entering another just because of the ancillary business around the lobbies of the building. Yeah. It's a rock and roll show big time.
Yeah.
And you
sounds
love it.
fun.
You eat it up.
I do.
How does it compare to, say, like CES, which is smaller and more consumer oriented?
Yeah, they're set up sort of the same way, where there are booths and spaces and halls and different businesses exhibiting. They're very similar structure. I mean, SEMA is sort of the same way, but of course they have a lot bigger booths because there's cars in them, not just little microphones.
So it's basically a trade show.
Yeah, but I like to think it's a little cooler. You get top record producers and artists, have been there and, had very famous individuals come by and walk up and, wow, we really appreciate what you're doing. And, it's just...
How does that feel? I mean, it's got to feel great.
It's great. This year, Joni Mitchell's being nominated for a Lifetime Rock and Roll, the Hall of Fame or Lifetime Achievement Award with music, and it's kind of cool that she happens to be receiving this award this year. My career kind of started because of a microphone that was burnt in a studio.
I think recording?
I mentioned it last time on the last show, so I don't want to go over the ground too much. But that's really how the Phoenix rose. Was there was a fire-damaged microphone that belonged to Alan Sides Ocean Way, and Joni had borrowed it, and it had unfortunately had an accident in the studio, and it had caught fire, and that was one of the first 251s I restored from tip to toe, and it's really how the business started and how we have the microphone capsule we do.
So it's a bookend. Like the fact that she's getting it this year and everything else, it kind of feels a little bit... Yeah, that's very cool.
19 years from finding a burnt microphone to...
Well, but the parallels here are uncanny. I mean, we're going through the same situation, and this is the year, that's all going to finally, hopefully, be resolved. I can't imagine what's going through your head right now. It must be really cool.
I'm looking forward to the Tech Awards. I really am. Being nominated is wonderful. I think it's the first time that a whole series of microphones is nominated. Usually they just nominate a particular microphone.
Oh, really?
Our Alchemy series has four microphones and 3 unique voicings. So there's really 3 microphones being nominated. So, hey.
When are the awards?
Stiff competition with 5 or 6 other companies that are also nominated. But I'm really proud of my guys back in Connecticut, my family, the team that's back there putting microphones together every day. I
love the pictures of your assembly line, of all the people and all the parts and all the stuff. To me, being a nerd techie guy, like I love seeing all that stuff.
Yeah. We have 5 or 6 folks at the booth today. Our international sales manager is here from Italy. We're now shipping microphones. I think I lost track after 117 different countries.
Wow.
I know we're just opening up more territory. We have a couple new distributors, and our distributor in Japan we're very, very happy with what's going on in Japan right now.
Okay.
So, I think there'll be some more news about that, as the show progresses. I'll probably post about that when it happens.
Okay. Gosh. I mean, I can't even imagine what you could mean by that. Don't mind me while I clean up this mess.
No worries.
I made it.
No worries.
I don't even know what exactly that means. Like, what is going on in Japan that I don't maybe know about that would affect your microphones?
Our distributor in Japan is really happy with our products, and I believe we'll be receiving receiving an award from Japan for our dynamic series. I believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I see why you sandwiched it in there with the same thing. Then that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Can we talk about Porsche a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! I mean, other than me and the people we hang out with, I don't know a bigger Porsche file than you, Mister.
Yeah.
You've got a whole bunch. You race a whole bunch. Obviously, when you were here last time, we talked about the Electro.
Yeah.
Maybe we should
Electric
pick up what's
cars
going
are.
on with that.
Yeah. So my project has been backburnered a little bit. You know, it's expensive to do these experiments.
The way you were doing them, yes, sir.
Yeah. So we got a little ahead of ourselves, and we got the car together. We got it tested at the end of last year, and
We showed some video on the show of it rolling and it running and
Yeah.
it roaring.
yeah, it's really powerful. So a lot of what we do, been working on, is making it safer. We had some problems with the inverter. We had some low voltage issues that we're working through, and changing out the inverter. And hopefully in the spring we're going to get back to testing the car.
Oh, cool.
And
So it is truly backburner. This is not a dead project even. You're just when you get to it.
You know, here's the thing. You know, this is something I did from my imagination and my heart, and a wise businessman wouldn't do it. And somebody who owns an international brand maybe shouldn't do it, because it's a dangerous thing. And I want it to be safe. And, you know, doing outlaw stuff and like Frankenstein's garage is great, but like I want to make sure that my whole crew is you know, taken care of and doing it the right way. And I didn't really want to, you know, I was rushing last year for the weather to try to do it. And,
That's right.
you know, New England's difficult. You know, you got weather, you got snow, you got sand, you got, you know, trying to make the appointment to like have a private time at the track.
Not only that, you're at Lime Rock. You can't even run on Sunday. So I mean, you're limited all over the place.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was one of the reasons
Actually,
why.
you're the one guy who couldn't you?
Yeah, you know,
it's
the quiet. You know, one of the things that I learned about that car is, you know, in a racing situation, electric is really amazing. You know, being able to actually hear the tires and hear the suspension without the sound of the motor, it's like having a sixth sense while you're driving. And I think a lot of these guys say, well, I love the way my engine, my flat six sounds, and, you know, I can hear the difference between this liter flat six and, you know, a bigger motor, or, you know,
I agree with all
megaphones,
of that.
or
I agree with all of that,
you know,
except at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, if you can actually hear what the rest of the car is doing, you can drive like a banshee.
It's wild.
You know, so in time, hopefully this spring, we'll get back out there again with it and
cool.
have some fun.
Awesome. Well, we'll just stay subscribed then to that one.
Yeah.
What about some of your other Porsche builds? Because every time a car gets done or it gets sent down to Sloan, I just look at the pictures and I'm like, holy crow, another one. There was that black and white one that was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a dark gray and white.
Yeah. Dolphin gray.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Kind of like bottlenose front on it. It's our style, our tribute. But
yes.
yeah, so we have 2 or 3 cars available for sale. There's a 3.8 coupe at Brett Sloan's in Fairfield on display, and there's a.
Are they still right on the post road there?
He is now right off the Amtrak in Fairfield.
Okay.
But he's got a beautiful showroom, and 2 of the cars there on display. The other one is a cabriolet that also is been backdated, and you know, it's just a fun car. It's a car that Porsche never built, being a cabriolet that's small bumper but with a 3.6 in it and all that 964
updated stuff.
Yeah, suspension, and really probably the fastest car yet that I've done on the street.
Really?
It's just so light. It's just so light. So I'm hoping to sell that. And then there was a Mexico blue cab as well. It's a real extreme body with it's Mexico blue with gold wheels. But I want to sell those 3 cars to give way for some new projects for Telefunken.
Do you consign all your cars through Sloan?
Yeah, I've been working exclusively with Brett Sloan for a while. I knew his dad really well. His dad taught me an awful lot about cars. I used to visit there just to see exceptional early low-mile cars, and you know, his dad would always kind of give me the lowdown on this car or that car. And
somebody taking the time with you really leaves an impression when you're younger, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So many people I think of that way.
Yeah, I mean, Brett visually is, great, doing a lot of photography down there. Hopefully in the spring we'll see what happens. A few of those. I recently parted ways with 68 Rally 912, which was exceptionally difficult to do.
There was a reason, though. There was a good reason you parted with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a trade?
It was a trade. It was a direct swap with my friend Don Ahern, POR Sport. He's in Long Island. He has exceptional taste in rare cars. 911s. So it's a 66 912 that was customized in the 70s by its original owner. And he wanted to paint the car. I think it was originally an ivory car. And he wanted to paint the car, but he was frustrated in the cost of painting a car at that point, which is incredibly expensive. He decided to paint the car himself, and he ended up coming up with this scallop paint job. So this was like in 1970, he basically reimagined a 912, with it's a 912-6 now.
Okay.
All right, so it's got a nice early aluminum case motor, and it's a really, really cool car. A car, hopefully, that I can drive a little bit more than the other 912. The other 912 was a beautiful car to bring in show.
It was a showstopper.
Yeah,
you didn't want to drive that car.
Yeah, so
not that much anyway.
Now that I'm wanting to get out, I'm hoping to do this Luftkult event.
Luftkult.
Luftkult.
It's going to take. Listen, this is your first one. It's going to take a while to learn how to pronounce it. It took us a couple seasons.
Yeah. So I'm hoping this is South Carolina.
And you're going to go?
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring the green car down there.
You're going to have a great time.
That'll be fun.
Those guys, I'm telling you, Zwart and Patrick and Howie, they really know how to put on an event.
Yeah. So,
do you know those guys? Do you know Jeff Zwart?
I've been watching them from afar.
Okay.
But
they should know you because of the cool stuff you're working on.
They're very friendly with Don, and Don's going to get me in there, I think. So, big shout out to my friend Don and Brett back home.
What's Don's last name?
Don Ahern.
Oh, Don Ahern and Brett Sloan. Okay, I see. Just want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
We all know that.
They have jobs to do. He's got to get into Luftkult. It's not easy, especially the first one on the East Coast. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of entries.
Yeah.
Probably.
What car would you bring? Do you even know? Or would it be this 912?
It would be this 912 because it's sort of the original hot rod, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just got a very striking paint job. It was there's a Panorama article, or it was a Challenge article. I'm not sure it's Panorama or Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The article on the car where was at an early gathering, and I think Ferry Porsche was there and saw the car, and or some article in there where he commented on the paint job, that had been kind of
monkeyed with.
Yeah, well, he comment. I can't quote the article exactly,
That's all right.
But I happen to think that it's pretty psychedelic the way this car is painted.
Sweet. Well, it's the right time for it then too.
Art car, right? Rolling art. So hopefully.
Well, speaking of rolling art cars, at some point there was discussion of you sending a car out here. Are you still thinking about that?
I really would like to try to.
Yeah,
do
we'd
that.
like that too.
Yeah.
From a creative place, we'd like that.
Yeah, I think it would. Be great to come out here and do some driving.
Yeah.
And spend more time in the LA area and get to some more studios.
Be here on a Friday for Breakfast Club, for goodness sake, at least.
Yeah. So, I would like to bring, it's a 2002 C4S.
Yeah. Silver,
Arctic Silver. So hopefully I can get that, some fresh shoes. And
the only thing is, if you leave it with us, it's going to end up looking different. We're going to end up telefunking the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to look good.
It's going to look amazing.
Yeah.
And if you're leaving the keys here, we're going to drive it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
Yeah.
At least once a month.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
It definitely needs exercise.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get out here that much.
Now you're talking. Because if you were out here and being a buddy and we were just driving buddies too, I mean...
That's a win-win.
I'm just saying, it puts a big old smile on my face.
Yeah. Well...
Because, I mean, how is Lime Rock? Let's get to that. How is one of my favorite places in the world, Lime Rock Park?
11 or 12 12 years now. I think I've been driving with the Drivers Club at Lime Rock, and I started off going with CVR
me
DE
too,
events and little SCDA, and I've been driving there for a while, and to me, it's just so great. Throwing a car around the track there.
Yeah.
It's been really.
I love throwing it around
Over the
track.
years, it's Skip's just done a great job keeping the community together there and upgrading the facilities.
What have they done to upgrade the facilities?
Well,
For years and years, it was always the same, and no, I wouldn't complain about that. I liked it.
A few years ago, I don't have exact dates, but I don't know, the last 5 years, I think they repaved the track at one point.
Oh, that's great.
That was a big project. They expanded the lower paddock. And
Way back in the day, we had the Pave the Park stickers. We still have one on the car. $5 last time they did it.
Yeah.
new bathrooms, new facilities. The club has access to both the infield and outfield chalet. So when you go there, have lunch every day.
That's
Jeanette is in charge of sort of keeping the drivers at bay and fed, and she
in charge of hospitality.
yeah,
basically.
hospitality for Skip, and it's just a great community to be involved with, and a great place to get out there and exercise the cars, and the East Coast is the car culture is very different. I can't drive down the street and see George Barris's place. There are a few great guys in Connecticut that I can go visit, but it's like behind closed doors, and I gotta,
Right. This one has a showroom and a glass window and everything.
Yeah. Wow.
How often do you go to Lime Rock?
I'm usually there. The past few years, my attendance hasn't been what it has been. I've been really focusing on developing new business with Telefunken, so it takes me out of the driver's seat, and it puts me traveling. The whole soundstage thing is a way to bring the music to.
You're doing what we did.
We don't want to travel as much as we're getting older, and I love coming out for the trade show. I would like to come out to California. I'd really like to figure out how to do East Coast, West Coast
Now
dual
you're
residency.
talking.
But
Now you're talking.
That's different.
in
I
time,
wasn't
in
sure
time.
if you went there and cleared out for a minute. Like we go up every Friday, and I know that checks out your head sometimes. You meditate, and I do.
Yeah,
too.
if I'm not at Lime Rock driving there, I'm going on a cruise somewhere on the weekend. I usually go for drives, up through. Northern Connecticut, Quiet Corner. Just a lot of beautiful roads through there, driving up towards Vermont.
People don't realize how beautiful New England can be to drive.
Driving in the foliage is driving. I mentioned the cabs earlier, the cabriolets. I had always had either a sunroof or a coupe, right?
Yeah, me too.
If you haven't driven in a cab with the top down
For the foliage.
in the foliage,
Yeah.
and hear the sound of the motor with the top down, it's like just turning the volume button.
Yeah. You may not want to go on the track with this car, but it's such a cruiser.
It's the closest experience you can have to flying without actually putting wings on the car, I think.
I love that. I love that. Well, I can't wait to do it out here then.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the canyons are so that you don't even hear the engine behind you because it's behind you. You're in front of the noise,
Yeah.
You just hear wind noise up there. It's so great.
Yeah, I really would like to get out and do more driving with the cars. Trying to clear out quite a bit. In September, I'm probably going to be, or October, moving location for my motorsports garage.
You found a place.
Well,
last time we talked, it was,
It's. I don't want to say anything, so
Yep,
it's
yep.
still,
Working on it.
But, in the last couple of years, I've decided that, it's important. I've done a bunch of traded up, in taken a few projects that were going to take just too much time for me to complete, and traded them for substantial cars. So, trying to thin the herd and really try
Focus
to be
it up a bit.
focused and have cars that I can enjoy driving and that I can pass on. I think as Porsche collectors, people want to hold on to this stuff a little too much, and I gotta thank Don for this, because he's kind of pushed me to kind of say, hey, you've had fun with that car, and don't you want to have fun with another car, and check this out, and
Somebody who knows where the tides go, because I'm bad with that too. I get emotionally attached.
Yeah, I mean
that's hello.
so like that, I've been reading, and I'm sure it's more popular out here than it is out on the East Coast, but the whole like Marie Kondo approach to simplifying your life and going through and cleaning.
Is this a minimalism type of thing?
Yeah,
sure.
But that's really important with the hobby, and it's probably the one thing I've picked up on over the years is that I want to keep moving forward, and in time hopefully we'll get it really focused. I
don't know, man. I look at you and I'm absolutely impressed with every single thing that you've got going on. I mean, you know what I mean? You've got, everything is so focused already, whether you realize it or not.
When you guys walked in today, like, you guys kept talking, being like, oh, and this, oh, and this, and, oh, and this. Yeah. And, like, you're doing so much stuff.
But it is all focused.
Yeah.
You're only in this field of view here. You got the cars and the microphone. It's all within this.
Yeah.
It's super impressive.
All form, fit, and function. I really want to do more good things with both sides of my passion.
Yeah.
Driving passion and audio and the balance of those things and how they sound and how they feel.
How can we help with that? How can we help spread the good vibrations?
Oh, you're doing it already. You're having fantastic guests on your show, sharing their life stories. It's like great to be able to have this connection through the broadcast. You're helping
all right.
by doing it, and it's great. Like when we were first talking, when it first came in, we're all part of this thing. It's just unbelievable, so special.
I'm really glad to hear you say that. I mean, we feel it too, but it's when you're swimming in it nonstop, it's easy to get not jaded, but
I don't know.
Lose a sense of reality where you're like, yeah, this is great.
I know. I have a lot of friends who, owning something like a Porsche is a really big deal to be able to even hobble together a car.
Yeah.
I realize that I'm blessed. I just want to share everything I can, in hopes that there will be other people who get turned on to the same thing that makes me tick. Get
their gears turning.
Yeah.
What have we not mentioned, Scott? What have we? Are we missing anything business-wise that we need to get to? Have we hit all the important stuff?
He's a true innovator of many different things and trying to keep up. He's got 10 more ideas right now that he's not doing. I know he is.
Yeah, you are an idea man. You know that too, right? I mean, you're just.
I'm very, when it comes to 30,000 foot views, I don't know. It's weird the way it all fits together for me. It's all where, pardon the pun, where the rubber hits the road. The microphones, the technology, whether it be working on a machine part or working on a track for a band. Scott has been great managing and helping me produce. It's been really awesome, the things we could do, whether it been concerts or music production or making records. So every day is a blessing. Every day. Every day.
You definitely have the right attitude, but I don't want to gloss over the fact that you're probably a genius too. Can we just leave that there? You don't have to acknowledge it, but you got it right.
We'll just lay that there and leave it.
It's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
It's pretty impressive, and I'm just so fond of you as a person.
Likewise.
Are you not staying at the Cafe 101? That was you were just there for food, right?
That for me is the epicenter of LA.
The Swingers Cafe?
It's just, like when I first came to LA, and this was like when I was first starting out, and I didn't know a thing about anything out here. I ended up at that Best Western Hotel, and I lived in that hotel for like 30 days before I could find my apartment and settle down. I eventually lived in L.A. at the Sunset and Vine, 1555 Vine Street, the Magic Johnson property. I guess he Schwab building that used to be the Merv Griffin set.
No kidding.
So I was one of the first people to move in there when they first modernized it, and so I lived there for about a year. But in getting there, I spent 30 days living at the 101, and while I was there, Jack Black, Tenacious D, Johnny Knoxville,
the guys of the time, right?
We were like all there.
Did they perform there or just go there?
No, they were just, they were
out.
also
Patrons.
finding their way
Yeah.
and just staying there and trying to figure it all out.
Wow.
And I was, they were well on their way to being famous. And, when I was there, I was like, wow, this is cool. I can sit here in this coffee shop and these people are coming in all the time. And like the connections are just,
Well, you get vibes off things, so.
yeah, well, one of my first, I have one story about the cafe there. So at one point I'm in LA and I'm living at the Sunset and Vine. I get a phone call from an engineer in the Midwest somewhere who's like, yeah, I got a truckload of vintage gear and I'm coming to LA because I saw you and I need to sell everything. My wife needs an operation and, can I come see you? I have a whole bunch of microphones.
Huh.
So this guy drove out and met me with his car in the U-Haul somewhere parked out there on the corner, and comes in, to 101, or sitting at one of the booths right in the front window, and he puts down these two boxes and he's like, I don't even know what they're called, but the box says Telefunken on it. Are you interested in these? And just cool stuff happening like that. Like,
But didn't know they didn't know who you were?
That was right when I was starting Telefunken. That was between like 2001, 2004. So I was in business like 4 years. He had seen me from something on the internet at that point, but it wasn't really,
That's crazy.
That's really inside baseball, small world kind of stuff.
yeah, it's just a wrinkle in my spending time in the area and finding gear and having appreciation for the music technology, really, coming whether it be vintage guitar shops here in town or different shops that were selling gear. Lots of old friends in town.
I love that. Something came over the teleprompter just a moment ago. I'm so impressed. Scott has a teleprompter app on his phone. Relics Magazine article? Or anything Relics Magazine we should talk about?
So,
Especially because it looks like you don't want to talk about it. Let's definitely.
So, dear friend of mine right now who happens to be in Mexico, who's done a lot of work with me in the past with some of the brand image. My friend Jason, massive Deadhead. Very, very grateful for him. At one point, he calls me up and there was some Bonhams auction, or it was just shortly after Dick Lotvilla's passing. You know who Dick is.
The name.
Dick's Picks, all the Grateful Dead live releases.
Sure.
So he calls me up and he's like, well, Carol, Dick's wife, has like this stuff. It came out of the vault. It was everything that came out of the Grateful Dead vault that didn't say the Grateful Dead on it.
Oh my goodness. So
when the Grateful Dead decided that they needed to disband the vault and they decided to donate it to the University of Santa Cruz, the University of Santa Cruz could legally only take the actual Grateful Dead recordings. So any recording that was in the vault that Dick Lotvilla had as a reference recording from the Rolling Stones or literally hundreds of bands, he was a taper. He loved listening to this stuff, and he wanted to compare what the Grateful Dead sounded like live to what all these other bands sounded like live. And So everything that wasn't Grateful Dead that was in the vault, they didn't know what to do with. And Jason got the call, and Jason and I purchased this remnants of skeletons from the vault. And for about 10 years, this sat in my warehouse in Connecticut, like the Ark of the Covenant, kind of on a pallet rack.
Love the reference.
And it wasn't until I met Scott Menderos who kind of pushed me to, let's break it open. Let's see what's inside.
So is this what you've been digitizing lately? This is what you keep posting, and then, oh, there's this, and
Trying to bring attention to it. This is a serious collection. It's probably the most sought after in the world right now, and it's pretty extensive.
So it's that archive that he's been digitizing lately.
So yeah, and it's not just like 300 quarter-inch reels of like 60s who's who. There's books and some literature and some other things and letters and all kinds of little trinkets. But so we decided to go through, check the inventory and go through each item. And Scott and I were sitting with a friend listening to some audio in the studio or going through the books, like looking at all Dick's literature on the Grateful Dead in the books. And out falls this piece of paper. And we look at it, and I notice lyrics right away from Brown-Eyed Women. And I can see, like, some song words scribbled out. And then I'm like, Scott, where'd you find this? How... So out of one of these books happened to be the Robert Hunter's
annotation or whatever.
Yeah.
His original notes.
His original notes.
Written wrong the first time.
Written incorrectly at first.
It was originally named Brown-Haired Women. Or, I'm sorry, Brown-Haired Women. And the whole course of the...
It was originally called Brown-Haired, in case they can't hear him. Originally called Brown-Haired Women.
Brown-Haired Women, and
he crossed it out.
And he crossed it out and changed it, and the whole lyrics of the song there. And we were just dumbfounded. It literally fell out of the book on, was it the day of his passing?
2 days
after. Wow.
2 days after his passing.
Well, that's not a mistake, right? I mean, that's just one of those things.
As a story, and it's pretty interesting.
Oh, so that's where the Relics comes in. So Relics picked up that. Wow.
This Friday.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
and
that
it drops this Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Relics magazine this Friday.
Yeah. Yep. Some
Congratulations.
original Grateful Dead lyrics falling out of books, falling from the sky. Right?
That's not something you ever even thought you would get. You know what I mean? That wasn't part of the whole. This was just a little bit of a life cherry on top.
That was about the recordings. The literature was great, but a lot of great pictures to look at and a lot of great things to read. But to find those lyrics, I mean, come on.
That's amazing.
That's
just
a pretty cool thing to have in your repertoire.
Yeah.
How you feel?
Grateful.
You're the best. It warms my heart. I can't even tell you.
Grateful.
We've done the hour. We're good. I mean, if you're good, we actually went a little long.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're going to be here every time you're in town. I hope that you're bringing a car out, or sending a car out. I think we talked about that too. We can always do the Motoring Club. I want to get a big shout out to Michael Rapetti down at the Motoring Club because they might be able to receive it and store it there or whatever.
It's a great
we'll figure it out.
idea.
And obviously, you know that you're welcome here as well.
Absolutely.
Were you pointing at the? Now this is kind of funny. If you are familiar with the Baby Yoda, there's all sorts of talk because doesn't he have a helmet that's got what very closely appears to be the 000 logo on the helmet?
Yeah.
Pete Stout's little logo.
Yeah. Love the magazine.
But I haven't seen the movie yet, though. But there was a picture somebody put, and that's true, right? That was really that's real.
Yeah. There's an issue. I mentioned the Club Sport that
you traded.
Yeah, traded up for. That Club Sport is in. There's an edition of 000 where that my Club Sport with the previous owner is in the magazine.
You don't know what number, do you?
I'm not sure which issue it is.
That's all right. That's all right. We don't have all of them. We got on late, so.
Dear Pete.
That's why I'm asking.
We'll ask Pete.
Yeah, Pete Stout's great.
That'd be awesome.
Fans. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
you're
Thanks
awesome.
for having us.
Mrs. Ryan, what do we have tomorrow?
Breakfast Club.
Oh, this is it. You're here. It's the end of the week. You got the
The
whole
end of the week.
weekend. It's the NAMM show. All right. So, yeah, come to Breakfast Club tomorrow if you feel like it. Come on down. We are Newcomb's Ranch. They open at 9. We're there around then. And when that's over, you should go down to Anaheim Convention Center and pop in over at the Telefunken booth to enter for your chance to win. It won't be this color at that point, probably, because this one was given away today. But a real one, probably more similar to what you were using there, Mrs. Ryan.
All right.
In a color. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Some kind of blue.
Yeah, I
So,
think
in some version of blue.
Blue, yeah.
That's right. Shades, multiple shades of blue. And that's what's going on. And then next we've got great guests as well next week. Ian James Corlett. This is funny you're sitting here. He has an electric 912.
Yeah.
That's who's here, right?
Yeah.
He's a voiceover guy
Him
who
and
is a big
Chris.
Porsche file.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Love that. And Chris Gabriel as well. So fantastic. Mrs. Ryan, I love you so very much.
Love you.
Scott, thank you for being here. We love
Thank
you very
you.
much. Toni Roger
Thank
Fishman,
you.
we love you so very much. Thank you for being here. You mean the world to us, and it has nothing to do with being a guest or a friend or a Porsche thing. There's a connection that goes way deeper. You're awesome. Thank you.
I wish you both health and happiness.
Thank you, brother. We love everybody at home. Please have a great weekend, and we'll see you out there. We'll be back next week.